Sportin Wales podcast.
Supported by DragonBet,
Your go-to for Welsh sports news and views.
Welcome back to another Sportin Wales episode sponsored by DragonBet, and this week I am very welcome Simon Zebo, unbelievable guest to get on. Simon Zebo, 166 odd caps for Munster, Racing Metro, 35 Irish caps. Mate, how are you?
I'm very good, thank you. Very, very good. How are you keeping?
Yeah, good, mate. Busy. Pod's keeping me busy. I'm not playing as much rugby now. Obviously, I know you retired.
Yeah.
What's retired life like, mate?
It's very good. So far, it's very good. Got plenty of time for my kids. I have four beautiful children at home to keep me busy. And I have a whiskey called Black Emerald just to be launching next year, which is quite cool. And like yourself, staying in the game and speaking a bit about rugby on weekends. So it's been good so far, so good.
Are you doing that with a lot of Premier Sport, is it, I think? Or is it RTE as well?
Doing some commentary work with Premier Sport, especially for the big Champions Cup, which is coming up this weekend. All excited for it. Great. Going to be covering the Bath versus La Rochelle game over in Bath with the Premier. So it'll be cool to see some old faces, familiar faces.
That should be good. I was obviously, listeners that wouldn't know, me and you got obviously pretty close during the 2013 Lions tour, didn't we? Obviously, you didn't get selected straight away, did you? You came up. Did you come up?
Yeah, about 2 weeks after you flew out. I came as injury, but stayed on as for the rest of the tour, which was brilliant. Obviously, should have been selected from the start, but we leave that off.
It was like a stag do for you afterwards.
Prime, it wasn't. I'm joking. What a tour! What a tour!
Yeah, it was a good tour, wasn't it? We played. I remember the first game we played you boys, didn't we? And you gave us a bit of a spanking, actually, didn't you? I think 20, 30 points half time. Yeah. I remember, what is going on? I think we were on the back of like 8 defeats as well. We were like, I don't know what's going to happen here. And obviously your infamous flick in that game. And funny enough, I got Natalie, who works behind the scenes here, said she's got a photo of you scoring and me on top of you, apparently.
Go away, really? Yeah.
I'll have a look. But
brilliant.
So obviously, competition for a spot on that wing, it was pretty tough, wasn't it? It was me, you, Tommy Bowe. Who else? Yeah. George was like the golden boy, wasn't he? So he was always getting picked. Yeah,
Mates was there as well.
Yeah, Sean Maitland.
Who else?
Christian Wade.
Anyway, there was what?
Wadey.
Oh my goodness. Wadey was a problem. And it still is a big problem, actually. He's ripping up the Premiership. He is unbelievable. What a boy. There was some savage competition. But after that game in Cardiff, we were playing England at home the following week. And 10 minutes into the game, I broke my metatarsal. So I missed the rest of the championship, which was so I was a bit behind the pack. I had to play really well in the Champions Cup to get to keep my name involved in selection, which I did. I was unbelievable that year.
So you're saying if you were fit, you were probably in the squad instead of me.
No.
So cheers for that metatarsal. Mate, any fond memories from that tour you can remember? Because I was trying to think back the last couple of days. My memory is really gone from that tour because we did go out a lot, didn't we?
Yeah, but you were playing the test. You see, you were ripping it up. I was in the midweeker, so I was. My memories were all nights out with the lads, with Wadey and those boys, which was great. And most of the Scottish lads, they weren't involved either. But I'd say the nights out. We had some cracking nights out in Newstat. Do you remember before the third test? So going up there to the surf haven and enjoying the daytime fun, the jet skiing and stuff, which was great crack.
And the shark baits. Remember the shark baits when the boys were falling off the jet skis and they were climbing up these big buoys, weren't they? And we were like, oh, they seem safe enough. And then a guy comes flying out on his jet skis like, get away from there, get on your jet skis. And we're like, what do you mean? It's a shark bait. So there's like food at the bottom. So sharks come and eat the food so they don't come into shore, wasn't it? We were like, right, jet ski, we're getting straight back in. Just get out of here now, ASAP. And that was the last time I was on a jet ski ever again, to be honest.
Yeah.
But it was some tour, wasn't it? We have to talk about the fines that we used to get, didn't we? You know, they were pretty brutal. I don't know who came up with the idea with the dice. I'm not sure, but it seems to be every team's social punishment now, because we had it at Exeter as well. But obviously, you had to call your boss Rob Penny and ask him if he wanted to be captain, which is funny just speaking it, let alone ringing him.
Nobody takes me seriously at all. That's the problem. I could be a good leader, especially back then, man. You know, like the body was feeling well, and there were the bumps and bruises. You play well every week, but it's the personality. It's the dressing room crack. I was never really in contention throughout my whole career of any type of leadership role in any team I've been involved in. But it's funny, how, you know, on the pitch then it would obviously be different. People would come to me all the time asking for advice. So what do we do here? If we have 14 men, how do we cover the backfield now? You know, it's just funny. The persona, the character, my personality, I suppose.
Yeah, mate, you've got serious personality.
Speaker, but on the pitch, so it's cool.
I was watching another pod, Rob Penny was talking about it. He said he actually sort of took you seriously until he heard someone laugh in the background on that phone call. Because it would have been funny if it played out and he'd be like, yeah, Simon, I really think we could push you towards captaincy. I just loved your reaction.
Like he said, though, he was challenging my leadership, you know, because I was very young, and he would have probably wanted me to stay in Munster for my career and help me with my leadership side of things, try and involve as a player. But not in one ear, out the other. But my personality, genuinely nobody in my team would take me serious if I tried to give a big pre-match speech. You know, like, come on, boys. Yeah, that would have been everything. Nah, it's just not going to happen.
If people don't know Simon, he is literally the heart of the change room, which is the best part about being a rugby player, isn't it? You know, the feeling, and I miss that a lot, especially at Exeter. We had a few lads who were similar to Simon, and just lived for those Monday morning meetings in the changing rooms. But no, good man. We'll have a little quick chat about the URC so far. Obviously, on the weekend, Cardiff had a pretty good win against the Dragons, albeit, you know, they are bottom of the league. Ospreys real bad, lost out in Italy. Tough game that, isn't it, in Zebra? You know, you've played many times. Munster went out there this year, lost, didn't they? It's a tough place.
And I actually lost there as well. Or did I? No. Maybe not. But very close shaves. It's very close. No, I definitely didn't lose that. No, it's not that. It's they have gotten so much better. They beat Munster obviously this year. Tough place to go, especially if you're low on confidence, as you know yourself. Yeah. Teams going through confidence battle, or a battle with identity, or changing in styles. It's a very tough place to go. The crowd get behind them quick if they start well, and the Italians can spice it up at times. Yeah, they're looking all right. Even the national team, they're not bad. Scarlets obviously losing to Glasgow. I think that's a bit of a missed opportunity with the Glasgow team. I didn't know any of them really, other than their hooker. That was a missed opportunity. So obviously Munster has been pretty documented, obviously, with Roundtree leaving. Mate, Chris Boyd in charge short term. What's your thinking behind that? What's the chat with the lads there? They enjoy the Kiwi boy in there? Or? That's good. Yeah, great appointment. I know it's short term or temporary, or he's kind of like counselling role or something. I don't know what his actual role is. Maybe it is just consultancy. Is it probably? Yeah, consultancy. Sorry. It'll be interesting to see. But he's done some class things in Northampton, and you know, coming at this time in Munster, being a fresh voice and a fresh face, and maybe different ways of thinking. Slight subtle changes, because when he was in Northampton, they were playing a very attacking brand of rugby as well. Likes the ball in play, likes using the handling, I suppose, side of the game. So it could be an exciting one. And it's obviously great to still have our attack coach Mike Prendergast, and our defence coach Dennis Leamy, who've been doing some fabulous work over the last number of years. But I'd like to see a bit of an evolution, or them kick on, you know, a bit, and hopefully settled change room. Any whispers? Is Felix going back there? Felix? I haven't heard. No. I'm very, very good friends with Felix, but I haven't spoken about it.
He's had a good career, hasn't he, so far?
Yeah.
I remember playing him years ago.
My sister's 40th birthday, actually. We had a good old shindig together.
How old is he?
No, my sister's 40.
Oh, I was like, is he 40? I didn't think. He's keeping well, is he? Because obviously leaving England, he's probably had enough of those English lot, did he?
Yeah, I think so. I think so. You know how they are.
Literally. So, Simon, I'm going to ask you. I just want to ask your opinion on the Welsh side so far. Like, what have you? Obviously, it's been pretty up in the air, isn't it? Very highlighted of the struggles that they're having. Like, what's your opinion? Obviously, over the sea a little bit in terms of what you see. Not good, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Like, you guys must think easy win when you play us Welsh teams, do you? Or?
Do you know?
Back in the day, you used to get bonuses for winning. I know that.
You're trying to get me slow. It was easy win. No, it's interesting. It's hard. It's hard looking in from the outside. If you're being realistic, there's been not a golden generation since 2012, 13 or whatever, where you've had the Mike Phillips, Lee Halfpenny, Cutties, George North, Tippericks, Warburtons, all these players just kind of, leave the squad or leave the team. That's a huge investment, and it was hugely successful. But now you're just seeing, I think, the younger generation beneath them who just aren't hitting the heights or hitting the straps as early as possible. They need more time on the pitch. They need more backing and confidence as the number one options now. And a settled team, it seems to be changing. There seems to be a lot of moving parts so often every time there's a Welsh team sheet name. So it's a bit of consistency, I'd say, and investment in the youth. That's the only way, in the younger game now. I don't know what the academies are like over there and this and that, but the production line stopped when you stopped playing.
So what you're saying, we need to come back, do we?
Exactly.
Come out of
golden oldies.
Yeah, fair enough. Going into the autumn, obviously Ireland finishing their campaign last weekend against Australia, which was a closer game than I probably thought was going to happen, but I guess the gap... for me, watching Ireland, they don't look like they're really in full flow at the moment, do they? A lot of mistakes, a lot of penalties. I don't know what's your view on it, because obviously you were at quite a lot of the games, weren't you, with TNT?
Yeah, I would say, it's a bit of a transition. We have Ireland have a new attack coach. This is some younger, I suppose, players coming through and pushing on and needing experience, which is great, like Gus McCarthy or, Sam Prendergast, or, I'd like to see a few other players in there, but I think they've changed a few moving parts. They're trying to evolve their game plan. Andrew Goodman's trying to put his impact in on the team, and he'll have new ideas, new philosophies, playing Mike Catt's way versus this way, and I think their discipline's been a bit of an issue, a bit of ball handling errors, way too many of them we're used to seeing. And
don't look as clean, do they?
Don't
before.
Look as clean. And there seems to be a bit of a trend with the teams who do well against them defensively. Is that they don't, the South African blitz defense or the English blitz defense, that feeds into the Irish kind of style of play.
100%.
Short, it's off the hip, and you fly, there's always a bailout option, and the teams that seem to have done well have kind of allowed Ireland to play those passes and test them, let them come to the line as opposed to the line going to them, because that's what Ireland are used to playing against. So there's probably something to be looked at defensively to staying connected and pushing them to the touchline, getting off the edge, there's
just let them play, let the play in front, sort of thing.
Yeah, because some players are very good at engaging the line and using that front door, back door, and then some other players might do it a foot or two or a meter off the line, and it's not as effective. And you stay close, push them out, boom. So
two big questions.
Probably too much detail. I'll probably just you to get that one. You know what I'm trying to say. Yeah?
I know exactly what you're trying to say. One of my big questions is for Six Nations. You probably say Ireland are joint favourites maybe with France. Who's going to play 10, mate?
I would say Jack Crowley.
You think he will go? Yeah.
Like, it's going to be tough for him if Munster aren't playing well. You know, if Munster have a tough run of fixtures now, the next 6-7 fixtures are all very, very tough for Munster. There's not one, I suppose, game there's not one game against the Ospreys that you can relax it. No, it's it'll be a tough run of games, but Leinster are obviously well-oiled machine throughout the regular season. They use so many players. They have such good squad depth. Sam will probably get a good run on a winning team. I think it'll depend if Jack's going backwards or not winning as many games. Munster, who might get the nod there. So hopefully it's a good lead into Christmas and the New Year for Munster. And it's a healthy competition for 10, but both are top quality.
It is. Obviously, going on to Wales, we are 12 in a row now that we've lost, which is, I don't think, have you ever been in a situation in a team that you've lost that many in a row? I don't think Ireland ever. Did you lose that many of Ireland? I don't think you ever did you?
Definitely not 12, mate. That's probably a world record.
I think it's not far. It's over 400 plus days, I think. It's an insane stat, isn't it? It's such a bad one as well.
It's wild. Yeah.
But have you ever had a bad run? You know, when you're at Racing or Munster?
Mate. Yeah. It's just unfortunate. It's a huge transition for Wales on and off.
Yeah.
I've had a few in Racing during the World Cup period in 2019. I think we went 5, 6 or 7 games, between 5 and 7 games on the bounce losing. We had a lot of players gone to the World Cup and we were changing coaching staff. And under Axel, we had a period as well where nothing seemed to click and we couldn't get results no matter how well you played, and the media go after you. So I understand the position.
Yeah.
Some of the players are in, but it's extra tough. 12 being a world record and everything. But, hopefully,
come on,
sort it out soon. You should organise a few figures against them.
I think they need a few. I think you need a few socials. That's usually what happens. I remember being at Exeter. We'd only lose a handful of games anyway. But if we ever lost 1 or 2 in a row, we'd be like, right, we need a team social. So after a game, we'd just go out and have a few beers. And we'd always say if we had a social on the game, we'd never lose. So we'd go back to that and we'd always win. So it seemed to just knock us out of that sort of rhythm, yeah.
There's a lot to be said for it, especially there's been a lot of fixtures where the lads know there's a night out after and you give it 100. Definitely.
Oh, no, it definitely does. It does help, like, doesn't it? I think just that team morale, isn't it? Because sometimes you can just, I guess if everyone on the outside is into you, the change room is the biggest thing, isn't it, in the club? You know, the culture, and you know about it at Munster, how tight the boys are. And it's just sometimes just leaving themselves and work it out themselves, isn't it? Rather than all the coaches coming in. And that's what we seem to do well at Exeter when we were there. I don't know if it's the same for you, Munster lads, how you did get out of maybe of a couple of rots sort of thing.
Yeah, for sure. You know, especially whenever there is a little bad period or a couple of games gone against you, or you're dropping down the table. Usually those social or squad outings, or, you know, whether you're going karting or going for pints or paintball, you just do something as a squad together. They usually tend to have such a positive effect. And you can get lost in professional rugby. The change room can take a back seat at times because it's all go and so much action. So a lot of time for that, and it have huge impact. So in my career, I've seen it happen loads. Yeah, like yourself.
Yeah, exactly. Talking of the autumn, players that stood up, probably put their hand up, maybe for a Lions sort of. Obviously not selection, but you know the momentum starts from now, doesn't it? You know, it's like boys that have it in their mind a little bit. Any players you notice in the whole of the Autumn Nation series that put their hand up? Not just Ireland, but you know, obviously Scotland probably did all right, didn't they, in a couple of games? But you can't pick too many Scots, can they?
Tui Paladu is, definitely won't be too many Scots. Nah, hopefully not. Tui Paladu's been ripping it up. Who else? Finn will obviously go.
Yeah. Do you think he'd be the starting 10 and they'd build the team around him?
I would be Finn, yeah. I would pick, I think his kicking game as well, like his long distance kicking game has gone through the roof. He's slotting kicks at goal, perfect. Like the confidence of his all-round game. Sometimes Laidlaw might have been kicking, or Machino might have been kicking throughout his career. He's never been steady as a kicking, but that seemed to give him another bit of confidence. And I'd be building the team around him. Not because he's my buddy, but because he's one of the best 10s in the world. But I love Jack Morgan. I love watching Jack play.
Yeah.
I think he's a shoo-in to be on the team.
You imagine him on a real front foot team,
brother. Yes, exactly.
Do you know what I mean? Be a hell of a player.
Boundaries, going backwards. So, someone who properly hits you as well. Like he has a presence about him on the pitch. I have a lot of time for him. I respect him a lot. I'd like to see loads of Welsh players in it. I think.
There needs a few Welsh boys in the squad, just more culturally as well, isn't it?
Yeah, for morale.
Morale, yeah. Because the Welsh boys will be on nights out, so they're the only ones that can join the Irish lot.
Exactly. Caelan Doris, obviously, probably as well, has been captaining Ireland well.
Yeah.
Few names.
Yeah, Jack Morgan, to be fair, is some player. I remember first weekend I signed for the Ospreys coming back. And we had a couple of training sessions, and I was going to some of the older lads. I was like, who the hell is this bloke? He was just absolutely everywhere. But then when he hit you, you've bloody felt it, over the ball in hand, everything he had. I'd be surprised if he's not in and around it, fighting against obviously Josh van der Fleer, and it's a tough job that, isn't it, with Andy Farrell.
Very tough, but he can mix it with the best of them. So
Any dark horses you think might under the radar? Obviously, maybe not playing in Slash Rugby at the moment. There's big talks of Courtney Laws in there. Do you think he should be able to get picked?
I think Owen Farrell has.
Yeah.
I think if he gets a good run of games with wrestling, nothing to do with his father being there, just because he's such a good rugby player. And the way Andy's style of attacking, I think Owen fits into that perfectly and would be an unbelievable addition to the squad.
England miss him, don't they? I think England win. I think England win at least 2 of those games if he's playing.
Yeah.
In my opinion, but obviously Marcus Smith.
No, Marcus is in class too.
Top player,
anywhere, just to have him on the field. It's only for first phase that you're in numbers on the back. After that, everybody's mixing. So
exactly.
He'd be my dark horse. I think he won't get the attention or the headlines because he's playing abroad, but I would definitely have him in my squad. Yeah,
I know. Is that if you were in charge of Lions, you're definitely picking your son, aren't you?
You are, but it helps if your son's world class too.
Yeah, exactly.
One of the best 10s in the world. So I'd have him there, and I think he'll complement Finn really well, like he's done already. But I think like a second distributor or that just constant info into Finn. Like if you just tell Finn everything, or not everything, but just talk to him, give him constant communication. He's like the Rolls Royce. He will he'll pick every option. He'll just make his job so much easier for his skills to flourish. And Owen could constantly be in his ear and the outside of him and telling him which strings to pull. I think it's so dangerous. Yeah.
A little word on Australia, like they're looking half decent now, and I think it's going to be a bit of a battle that Lions tour. Do you think by then they're going to really improve, aren't they? Surely.
I think Ben Young's going to lift to regret.
Yeah, what is he? He's a plonker, isn't he? What a he's a pothole, isn't he?
Yeah. I think they were. Do you know how close to personal they looks very sharp as well? They were clean with their handling. Their handling was way more accurate than Ireland's last weekend, and it's not very often you say that about the Irish attack. I think Sui Ali and Helloways and Tom Wright, these guys are playing with confidence and looking really good. Building in the momentum that they have for the Lions, Joe is all over his details, so I would have predicted an immediate impact. It'll be a bit of a reality shock to a lot of boys, and great for Australian rugby. A great appointment picking Joe to turn things around.
Well, I'll be down there. Hopefully you'll be up down in Australia. We have a good few reunions in Noosa maybe. That'd be
100%.
good. Definitely looking forward to that. This weekend, European Rugby, probably one of the best competitions you can play in, really, isn't it? Then club rugby is another level. You're obviously back as a pundit on the Premier Sport, so a little plug for them. Are you looking forward to that? I think that's pretty exciting. Completely new show, really, isn't it, compared to TNT and BT Sport over the years? So, what are we expecting? Anything different, or is it just yourself? Entertainment.
That's enough. That's all we need, baby. We will. I know. As you know yourself, the rugby, the standards, I think, of rugby's gone through the roof. And Champions Cup, seen that obviously the addition of the South African teams has been class. The resurgence in French rugby, they're at the top table again over the last number of years, cleaning house at Champions Cup level. Leinster, obviously amazing. Irish teams are always thereabouts. I think just the quality across the board, much harder to reach semi-finals nowadays than it was 8 years ago, 10 years ago. Nearly Ospreys were making 10 years.
Mate, we had a good run. That was a good run we had.
Yeah, big time. But nah, jokes aside, I think the quality of the competition's gone through the roof. The atmospheres, the cross cultures, the trips to South Africa now involved. It's class, and having it all covered on Premier is top quality and wholesome. So it's great.
I'm looking forward to listening to you anyway.
I'll be back.
Zeebs, what's your fondest memory European Rugby? I know one of your not so fondest memories was the final that we ended up beating you. When you were at Racing. I didn't want to bring that up, but I did. But yeah, what's your fondest memories? Because obviously Munster, you've got a fair few. You boys always used to go deep in the competition, didn't you?
We used to always go deep.
I nearly brought that medal in. I've still got it. I've got a medal somewhere.
Yeah,
for taking part.
You rat. Oh, I should have had. That should have been a gold medal. That would have been.
That turnover, wasn't it? Right at the end. 2 tries from you that game as well.
Over right at the end in front of Nigel. Sure. You win some, you lose some. It was class. It was always a dream of mine to play in Champions Cup final, man. I've been to Champions Cup finals as a supporter to 06 in particular when Munster won for the first time. And I always wanted to go and play in it, and it's just unfortunate we didn't have any fans at all. It was incredibly special. But the some of the highs would have been playing Champions Cup final. Would have been the away trips of Munster to France, getting big wins or semi-final matches, seeing the travelling support going everywhere with you. So many great memories of playing Champions Cup rugby, and it's hard to narrow down to one, but genuinely, even though it was one of the toughest days of my rugby career, playing in the final would have been one of the best memories I'll look back on,
Yeah, would have been different level. I think it was supposed to be in Nice, wasn't it, in final, or Marseille or something. It would have been unbelievable, wouldn't it? Mm-hmm. You can look on Dragon Bet odds for the Champions Cup favourites. Toulouse are favourites at 7-4. You got Leinster 5-2, La Rochelle 6-1, Bordeaux 13-2, and then you've got the Bulls, Northampton, Saracens all 14-16-1. Racing Metro, your old team, and Munster 25-1, and Bath, actually, who I think have got a sniff this year, Bath. I think they're a real proper team. Some outside bets, Glasgow 33-1. They're looking pretty good. I know usually you need a home quarter final, don't you? It's like 100% record, isn't it? You got any? Who's your dark horse to sort of run deep in this competition? Obviously, you got your Toulouse and Leinsters that are always going to be there or thereabouts. But anyone that's going to sneak into that top 8?
I would have said Bath. Yeah, similar to yourself. I think Bath. Do you know what? La Rochelle, even though they're third in the list of favourites you named out there, they lost to Van last weekend. The confidence is a bit up and down, but Raj has been in plenty of teams. Donegal O'Ryan have been in plenty of teams where the league isn't going great and a European fixture comes around at the right time and boom, you're back into that, that the switch is flicked. And Yeah, I think they're a dark horse. People will be writing them off because their top 14 form has been a bit up and down. But yeah, I'd expect to see them come semi-final time. The Bulls is a very tough place to go and play. Like one of the South African teams.
So hard, isn't it?
They're going to spring a surprise eventually. You know,
one of them's got to go run, haven't they? Surely.
Yeah, they're going to run. Like, and I think maybe having a couple of games at altitude is the right time, and they could go all the way.
Like Stormers and Sharks is 66-1 to win. Have you seen the Sharks team? Like,
yeah, it's the Springbok pack. You know what I mean?
Literally.
It's crazy. So I'd like to see one of the South African teams take it properly serious, invest all this, you know, like get the big boys out.
It's the travel, though, isn't it? Yeah. They don't have enough time. They don't really have enough time, do they? From I think the last is it like a knockout game and then it's a quarterfinal the week after. It's too short a turnaround, isn't it? Do you think, or they need to?
Remember last year the Bulls were playing, and didn't they put out like
against Northampton
academy team against Northampton or something, or against a French team or Lyon or something? I can't remember, but there was just they weren't taking it serious at all, and you couldn't blame them with the travel and the repercussions of the URC the following week or whatever. So. Yeah, I think one of the South African teams will go deep in the competition, but who, I don't know, depending on who pitches up and invests in it fully. But hopefully they all do, and it's as competitive as ever.
Yeah, well, I think they're pretty overpriced, I think. So if they do take it seriously, I think, if they get that home quarter, they've got a real chance, haven't they?
And you know what? Actually, Sharks winning the challenge should definitely help that. You know, they would have gotten a boost off of that. They would have. That's a tough competition to win as well. They would have had to go abroad, home, away. So, the other clubs seeing that success and wanting some in South Africa definitely helped. And I think this year will be cracking. Yeah.
They absolutely tucked up the Ospreys because them winning that, Ospreys were 8th in the league, so they took the spot for the Champions Cup. So the Ospreys had to miss out, and now they're in the Challenge Cup, which is pretty harsh, really, isn't it? So, but it is what it is, isn't it? I think it just sums up Welsh rugby at the time, to be honest. French, obviously, all the Welsh clubs are in the Challenge Cup. Cardiff are playing Lyon, Scarlets have got Bayonne, Dragons are hosting Montpellier, and the Ospreys are against the Lions. So, hoping, I think they're going to target that competition. I think there's room for a bit of a run for those Welsh clubs. I think there's some top sides in that Challenge Cup still, isn't there? Like the likes of Lions, mate. Lions away is one of the hardest games I've ever played.
It's so horrible to play in. Yeah, it is sick. The altitude, it's higher again than Pretoria, isn't it?
Yeah, Loftus.
There's no air. There's just no air there.
Yeah, you feel that after 20 minutes.
Like, you think, come on, we kick off there. And it's like, we're going to chase the kick there. Oh, no, yeah. Pretoria and Joburg, they're very tough. They'll pick up a few scalps. The Welsh sides are going to find it hard, I think, to compete, even if it's the challenge on both fronts, URC and Challenge Cup. It is going to be tough, yeah. I just don't see the quality in squad depth to compete at both, yes. But yeah, I'd love to see the Welsh teams do well and get to a semi or a final. But yeah, I just haven't seen it by form or by looking on paper either. Yeah,
I think you need a good squad, don't you, for that to sort of compete on both sides. And obviously injuries are a big one as well. I just want to chat. Obviously, when you were at Racing Metro, the normal thing about French rugby is that they don't travel away. Like, how true is that or untrue?
To an extent, I've seen both sides of it. You know, like a fully motivated squad, Champions Cup, like we've gone to the Marcel Michelin and won quarterfinals or semi-finals, or Toulon or to Toulouse. You know, like I think the home crowds in France do so much for the home team. Yeah. It's not as black and white as this weekend we care, this weekend we don't care. I think if you're playing a Brive or Bayonne or Montpellier or whatever, like the whole town shows up, you know. It is crazy atmospheres. The team get a massive lift because it means so much. And like a 5% you underperforming can be the difference to 25 points. You know, like that's how easy the swing is. So, I don't think it's as easy as home and away. We don't care. That probably got bad rap. But yeah,
they take it seriously, don't they? The Champions Cup, the French sides. They
do.
I know the league is massive to them, but it's such a long year, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Champions Cup was always like, because the league is so long, it's like, oh, thank God, the Champions Cup, we get a break from the stress of the top 14. You know, it comes, it's lovely. France is intense. It's probably the best or toughest, league, but it's intense. The Champions Cup is. It's very difficult to compete on both. It's literally one or two can do it. Yeah.
Well, it filled your bank balance up, didn't it? Going to wrestling for a couple of years, which is probably why you retired early, is it, mate?
Early, brother. I'm 34, man. I don't know.
You got plenty of years left, mate.
No.
That whiskey's going well, is it?
Yeah. I got you bottles or two sent over, brother.
Well, Alan Wynn's trying to sell his rum, so I'm sure you'll be competing with him. Well, he's in Tesco now, so I'm sure. I don't know if that means anything or what. Must be doing all right.
And so is Hibbs, Richard Hibbard.
Yeah, he's in. Is he? I don't know what. Does he have rum? Mortal Bunny. Yeah, that's it. But no, boys are doing well. We had a good couple of years, so the boys did well in that period. I think they cashed in as much as they could.
It's great to see them.
Final one, I guess. Who's your pick then for the Champions Cup? Who have you got? Who are you backing?
I think Toulouse.
Yeah.
Or the dark horse at La Rochelle. But it's funny, you know, like Leinster should be there or thereabouts as well, but they've just kind of dipped come trophy time the last number of years.
Bottle jobs, isn't it?
Many number of years now. It's been, you know, a long time since they've, you know, won, isn't it? 2018?
Yeah, they've lost, I think, the last three finals. I think that's a bit of a...
Yeah,
that's got to be a bit of a block in the mind, that, surely.
Yeah, something there or there not. And Toulouse, I think, will just have too much for them again. Yeah. Too much Stardust. And
they got Dupont, mate.
Antoine Dupont is too good. He's not human. So, you know, like, how do you back against that? Even if Leinster are playing better or better points... or say more points accumulated throughout the tour, I'd still back that man. He's a bit of an alien.
Thanks, Simon. There's a couple of questions, just short ones. Favorite roomie in the Lions or in general? Any good, bad ones?
Say that again. Sorry, you just broke up there.
Favorite roomie in the Lions tour?
Brother, I think it's Christian Wade. It is just, he is the funniest human being I think I've ever met, genuinely. But naturally, without meaning to, you know, like we'd be lying down in bed, and you know, he'll just go like this. You know, Zeebs, you know, and then we're talking for an hour and a half. He'd be like, you know what, Zeebs? So funny. Such a funny character. Great to have in a change room, but also the best roomie. I just remember laughing non-stop anytime we were together, yeah.
Do you remember that the final test, he was in the crowd and he had his afro comb and he's just combing it away, and he's got like, he's just he's in his own little world, isn't he?
He's on his own. He's in Wade's world, and it's a great place to live by all accounts.
It was on nights out, wasn't it? We were just following him in the end. Like, where are we going, mate?
Yeah.
He knew exactly where he was going. Last one. Favorite moment in rugby, mate, on or off the field? What's something that you'll always just carry with you or remember? Just that first thing you remember.
Wow, what a question!
I know it's a big question, but
do you know what? First cap potentially.
Yeah.
My first cap was in 2012, so I was in between the back-to-back New Zealand team, and like it was in Auckland, and like I was lining Richie McCaw, was playing Sonny Bill and Nanu's and Dan Carter, Aaron Smith was team. Israel Dag was my opposite number, I think, and it was just insane team. And I had a poster above my wall, I had a poster in my room, just high up on my wall. Every night, as a teenager, I'd see the haka being done. You know, like that was the photo frame, and then my first cap was over there, and faced the haka.
That was your poster on the wall. Mine was Spice Girls.
I had a poster of the haka on the wall. It was given to me by my family. They knew I liked rugby. All right, I wasn't a big New Zealand head.
I had a big one of the Spice Girls, mate. I was a big fan of Baby Spice. And you've got the hacker. Oh my God.
I was a rugby pig actually during my teenage
You're a nose, aren't you? That's why you're you're a pundit. Oh.
I'm a professional deflector now. I deflected that so that keep calling the real rugby.
He's a team joker, but at heart he's an absolute rugby nose. Yeah, love it. Fair play. Mate, absolute pleasure having you on. I appreciate your time and it's good to see you, mate. We'll catch up soon, definitely, for a couple of beers. And thanks very much, mate. Appreciate it.
Hasta luego, bro.
Thanks for tuning in to Sportin Wales podcast. Make sure you subscribe and follow us on all socials for all things Sportin Wales.
Sportin Wales podcast.
Supported by DragonBet.
Your go-to for Welsh sports news and views.